Yo, what's going on guys? I'm Jay Cartere, and in this video I'm going to be sharing 10 tips and tricks that you didn't know in Ark Survival Evolved. Now obviously some of them you might have known, and I'm going to mix it up, so we got some nice tips for noobs and nice tips for advanced players. I'm hoping that, you know, both groups will find something that they didn't know, and if you do feel that you knew everything in this video, be sure to leave a comment down below and give us a tip that you think no one else knows, so we can help out the community and stuff like that. But let me start off the video. Sorry, I just had to get a drink of water there. With our first tip. Our first tip is when you bring up your map, you can actually put a point of interest on there by pressing square. Look at that. Right about now it says me, but my base is also under the me thing. So let's put a marker at 4060 so you guys can actually see it. X for example. There we go, 4060, and we've got a marker on the map. Now I just found this out after about 2 months of playing this game. I just found that this was possible. You can remove your markers by pressing square again and then just selecting that and going to remove. I wanted to test whether this works in PvP, and it does, but a very weird thing happens. Now when I went to PvP, I had the exact same marker on my map that I had in single player, so it seems like this map goes across all playthroughs, which is a bit weird. I didn't expect that whatsoever, and I don't know if that's incredibly useful. I think that's very annoying, to be honest, because if you put like a marker on here in single player, you'll have to deal with that marker in multiplayer also. So be sure to name your markers very well. I don't think you can rename them. You can remove them, but there's no rename feature as of yet, so make sure you name it like base single player or something like that instead of just base, because you might get onto multiplayer and then not know what the actual marker is for and get confused. So yeah, be sure about that, even though I don't think this would be a very useful thing in PvP because it doesn't actually show you where you are on the map in PvP. But I guess, you know, you could mark out your base and then you wouldn't have to write down the coordinates like I do. The next tip is to do with your inventory. In your inventory, you can actually press R3 to hide all the names. Now that looks super clean. That looks super clean. You can hide all the names and info of most things, like the weight, and that's, well, the weight and numbers of it stay the same. I think only the names go away. Yeah, only the names go away. The amount, like the quantity, goes up in the top left, the weight goes down below, and you know, right about now I don't need to see the names of any of these, to be honest. So I think I might go with this non-name format for a little while, because I do know all the equipment that I'm using. But it's just another tip to clean up your workspace. My next tip is probably something that some of you know, probably something that some of you don't know. You can use a USB keyboard with your PS4 in order to play Ark. Now you cannot use the PS4 companion app, which I generally like to use for all my messaging and writing in Ark. You can't use that, but you can use a USB keyboard, the same kind of thing that you use with the PC, and that is very useful when it comes to typing in the text, like in world chat and stuff like that, or even, you know, looking for something up here. But I generally just use this thing. If I'm looking for something, I only use my keypad if I've really got to type really quickly. But yeah, that's a tip. If you didn't know that, be sure to get out your keypads, plug it in your PS4 and get popping. So my next tip is that cooked meat actually heals your dinos faster than raw meat. So let's test this out. Let's see what this guy's health is on. 732. Let's punch him up a little bit. What are you on? 714. Let's give you some raw meat. That gets you to 719. Nice. Let's get a little bit of cooked meat on you. Now he's healing, he's regenerating, so let's get him back down. But as you can see, that done 5 points of health. Cooked meat is supposed to do 8 points of health. So let's check that out. There we go, 730. It does do more than normal meat. Nice, so now you guys know that. Although, I don't know if it's worth using your cooked meat for 3 more points of health, but there's a bit of knowledge for you anyways. Alright, so the next tip we have has something to do with the torch. I believe I included this tip in my beginner's guide to PvP, or beginner's tips and tricks to PvP, official PvP by the way. But I didn't include it in my last tips and tricks video because I thought that everyone knew this, but that's my bad. It's basically you take out your torch and you can throw your torch on the ground with L2. You can just throw it down there and that will continue to be a light source for you to go and harvest in the night, get whatever you want, or just be able to see the area without having to have a torch in your hand. Maybe you're getting into a fight or something, you can't see what's attacking you. It's really useful for that. And yeah, that's the tip. Alright, so the next tip, which I'm hoping we can get to, a few of our buddies seem to not want us to do it, is going to be showing you guys how to get raw prime fish meat. Now, you can get raw prime fish meat from saber-tooth salmon. Is that... what is that? Okay, that's a dead raptor because there was a alpha raptor around here, so I kind of don't want to tangle with that guy. Basically, if you use a sickle, you can get a bunch of prime fish meat from the saber-tooth salmon. Look at that. Oh, that wasn't a bunch. Oh, these saber-tooth salmon fight back. I did not know that. There we go. 31 prime fish meat. 5 prime fish meat. You know, we get some nice ones, some okay. But if you're looking to tame a mustrops or something, look at that. Look at all that prime fish meat. Remember, use your sickle, guys. Go and get some saber-tooth salmon if you wanted to know where this is. This is just by this waterfall, kind of on the edge of the swamp. Where are we on the map? There we are. There we are, guys. If you ever see, you know, red pools of water or reddish water, then you know that saber-tooth salmon basically will live in that, and you'll be able to find saber-tooth salmon there if you didn't know already. I guess that's another tip. Or there, that's just a tip within a tip. That doesn't count as a tip still. But if you want to count it as a tip, I don't mind. I'm giving you extra B. We're giving you extra out here. So the next tip is that you can actually open doors while on a mount. All you have to do is hold down triangle and then go to open, and then you've actually opened the door. Oh, another tip is you can actually get pteranodons inside small doors like this. It's a bit tricky, it's a bit glitchy, but you can eventually do it. If you really want it to happen, you can fit the pteranodon inside here. Can we do it for the purposes of this video? Can we get you in there? Come on. There we go. There we go. I bet you didn't think it was gonna happen. I bet you didn't think it was gonna happen. But there's another tip within the tip. I'm just leaking tips today, aren't I? Let's get him out here. You can obviously get him out. I think it's easier to get them out than getting them in. The next tip is put follow distance on low to better maneuver and move around your dinos. So in order to do that, you want to hold triangle on them. You want to change follow distance from medium and then change it from high, and then that should put it on low. Look above their heads. Oh, it's on highest actually. Then you want to change it from highest, and then it will be on low. And then, you know, above their, you know, below their name, you'll see that follow distance is low. And when you do that, it will enable you to much better move them to where you want them to be. So now he should be on low, or she should be on low. I'll make her follow me. And where do we want her to go? Let's get over here. Look, it's so much easier because they're right next to you. You can get them exactly where you want it to be. When you're on medium, like, they'll come a little bit, but you'll need to move a little while out for them to even start moving, and then they generally won't go exactly where you want them to be. You'll need to like punch them into the area, but definitely start making your guys follow you on low. It's generally best to have all of them follow you on low, to be honest. I don't see any reason why you'd have a dino follow you on medium, because if you're going somewhere with the dino and you want the dino to follow you, like you're flying with a pack of flyers or something and you need to take them somewhere, you want them to be as close to you as possible so they don't get out of render distance and then all of a sudden disappear or decide to, you know, glitch out the game or something. So yeah, make sure you put your follow distance on low. And my next tip is to use a bunch of standing torches in order to create consistent charcoal. Now, you may be creating charcoal while you're melting that metal and stuff like that. That's generally a nice way to make charcoal, but especially if you're early game, you really don't understand the importance of charcoal. When I first started the game, I definitely didn't realize how important charcoal was, and I was throwing it away. When you get mid game, late game, you're really gonna need a lot of this stuff, so burning it up in torches is generally a very good way to go, in my opinion. Obviously, if you can put it to use, that's generally better, because then you're not just wasting it. But these standing torches also do provide light, and it does get pretty dark in the game, so you can also use these as a light source. But I'd say put a stack of wood into each of those, and to just keep them burning while you're online. Make sure you do not have anything burning while you're offline, because that will just give away your position. And if you're trying to be super sneaky, then only burn in the daytime. But that will give you a nice good piece of charcoal eventually. Right about now, it's not giving me none. It's burnt one wood, but it's not giving me any. Yeah, it's a slow process. I don't think it does it any quicker than the forges, but if you just keep them burning and you come back eventually, you'll see that you've got loads of charcoal that you otherwise wouldn't have got, because you weren't burning wood for the sake of burning wood to get charcoal, I guess. The next tip I'm going to tell you guys is probably something that most of you have been using for a pretty long time. If you're an advanced player, you definitely know this, because you have had many times where you've needed spoiled meat or narcotics or something of that nature. Has this grown yet? Alright, that did finally grow. And in order to do that more quickly, now you could wait for each stack to eventually become spoiled meat, but the better way to do it is to press square on a big stack. Keep on pressing square until that splits the whole stack into ones. Now, pressing square obviously splits one out of the stack, and if you want like 100, then you do 5 stacks of 20, and in the 7 minutes or whatever, how long it takes to spoil up the meat, you will have that amount of spoiled meat. Now, if you leave it in a stack, then the way the game works is that one piece of meat will spoil in this stack every, you know, time the spoilage timer runs out. So this is on like 6 minutes 46. In 6 minutes 46, this will be a stack of 19, and then it will go to 18, and then it will keep on doing that until eventually there is no more. But if you want spoiled meat because you need to make a bunch of narcotics, this is the way to go. You can mass produce spoiled meat with any raw meat that you're not currently using. And the last tip, but is also a tip that I have put in one of my other videos, so it's a bonus tip. This is tip 11, is you can actually show your hair while wearing a helmet. And in order to do that, have I got my helmet on? Yes, I've got my helmet on. In order to do that, you hold circle, you go to emotes, and you go to show hat to bring it back up, or hide hat to get it down so that you can see your hair. And then you'll still have the protection of your armor, your helmet, and you'll also be able to show everyone your cool new hairdo. So I hope this video helped you out. I hope it gave you a fair amount of tips that you didn't know already. If you knew all these tips, then be sure to let me know in the comment section below, and share a couple tips that you think other people will not know. And if you didn't know all these tips and you found something that was pretty useful to you, then leave a comment down below, leave a like, hit that like button, all that sort of shit. Be sure to subscribe, as I'll be putting out loads more Ark videos. And if you want to check out the rest of my Ark tips and tricks or my Ark playthrough, you can click on the Ark playlist on the screen right now. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. You're getting dizzy now. Watch out. You're getting dizzy. Goodbye.
It's been a cold winter and it's lasted far too long. So all this warmth I share with you.